guys, Tara Ryan here with Fairway Mortgage, and today's tip from Tara is more about SOS calls, and in particular I've got 3 examples for you of deals that went south and why. So I did a video recently about an SOS, Save Our Sale, where the buyer had been mistreated by a lender. We were able to come in and rescue the day and close that loan in 8 calendar days. It was honestly a lot of fun, and I got a lot of feedback on the video. But what I thought might be interesting is for you to hear some stories of deals that unfortunately we could not save. Why? Because the buyer should have never been given a pre-approval letter in the first place. Okay? They did not qualify for the amount on the letter, period. And we get called for this Save Our Sale, and I want to give you 3 examples of where these things can go sideways. First example, a VA buyer had been pre-approved with one of the online lenders that specialize in VA transactions. Please be very wary of these companies. They are known for giving letters to veterans super quickly with very little hassle, meaning they aren't really checking anything. Okay, so in this example, the buyers had a letter, they fell in love with the home, the agent sent them to me because it was a weekend and the online lender was not responsive in helping them with getting their offer in and updating the letter. You guys know we're open 7 days a week. So we took the call, we got the application, we did a really, really quick turnaround, but unfortunately, the debt to income ratio was too high for that particular home. They were right up at the sales price that the other lender had pre-approved them for. What they had not done, however, was to explain upfront to the buyer what the monthly payment would be and what the max monthly payment is that they could get. As I've told many of you before, a pre-approval letter that says pre-approved to $375,000 is actually a lie. That's not how we do it. We do it up to a specific payment amount, and then you back into roughly how much house is that. And the lender had overpromised on what the sales price of the home would be. Presumably they weren't aware of what property taxes were running in the area where the client was buying. Long story short, they unfortunately could not find a way to purchase this home. We talked about maybe getting some gift funds from family. We can't add a cosigner because it was a VA loan. We looked at could we get some funds from family so we could do a conventional loan. Ultimately, the indecision was to regroup and come back at a little lower price point, and they are out shopping this weekend for a home that we can for sure get closed for them. Okay, that was an easy one. At least we caught it before they were under contract. The second one, a little tougher. FHA buyer, the wife is self-employed, and they had provided their 2 years of tax returns to the lender, had been fully pre-approved. They felt very good about their transaction. Under contract, now they are well into the transaction and past the financing contingency. At some point, they asked them for a copy of a P&L, a profit and loss on her self-employed business. They get the phone call, hey, we cannot fund this loan. The P&L shows significantly less income than the prior 2 years' tax returns. Well, yeah, because the wife had had a baby last November and took a few months off from work, has now started back at work, but is not back on pace at the same income she'd been in the prior 2 years. The error is that the lender didn't ask these questions and didn't get a copy of the P&L before giving them the pre-approval letter. Ultimately, with that reduced income, they do not qualify for this loan. We hopped in and looked at all the options. Could we switch it to conventional, which by the way would not need a P&L? Or could we add a cosigner? Could we pay down some debt? Ultimately, again, this deal could not be resolved, and we regrouped, backed up and said, okay, here are all the options and the things that you guys can do over the next really 3 to 6 months to set yourselves up to qualify for the price range you want. In fact, they're going to continue with the sale of their home, move in with in-laws, and use that time to save more money to pay off the debt and for her to get her hours up again because they really want the home that they want. Unfortunately, they've lost their earnest money on this home because of a mistake by the lender. I'll leave it at that. The third example, a jumbo buyer. They came to me for the pre-approval. They both work in high-tech companies and are super qualified, but they're looking for roughly $1.3 million, so we're looking in jumbo territory. Much of their income, which is common for these tech companies, it comes in the form of stock. restricted stock units, RSUs. To the buyer, that feels like a lot of income. They're consistently getting this stock. They're able, as it vests, they're able to sell or continue to maintain these investments. But in real life, in underwriting world, specifically with jumbo lenders, they're very specific how they consider that income. Think about it. Yeah, you've got a grant of stock, but the stock prices for some of these companies are all over the place. So how do you assign a value to it? How do you determine if this is consistent and ongoing income? Underwriters are very tight on looking on this particular type of income. So long story short, we did a conference call with some of our top underwriters. We really dug in because frankly, I was frustrated that my underwriting was saying, hey, we can't use this income yet. They don't have enough history of earning this type of income for us to be able to approve it. So I explained to the buyers where we were and I gave them some options. One, we could work on the other spouse's credit so that we could add him to the loan, or do a much bigger down payment and do it as a conventional loan. So I got a phone call from them this week. Hey, can you chat with us? We've got some questions. I said, sure, fill me in. Which approach are we going with? Well, it turns out they're now under contract. Somebody gave them a letter, a pre-approval letter. They went under contract for the home of their dreams. Now they're 10 days in, and now the lender is saying, oh, turns out we can't actually use your RSU income. So now we need a really big down payment or to add the spouse to the loan. So they're right back to what I had told them in the first place. Here's my point. Be careful out there. Lenders have no skin in the game. They are giving out letters like candy without doing the hard work to make sure they can stand behind it. Why? There's no penalty to them if ultimately they can't deliver on what they promised. So, stick with a lender that you know and trust, that you have a history with, and who is frankly beholden to keeping you and your clients happy. It's in your best interest and it's in your client's best interest. We would love to be that lender. And if you like this kind of content, like and subscribe, and we'd like to keep sending it out to you. As always, we're here to help.